Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the Nintendo Famicom system. Last episode, Fess, Maxine, Booker, and Ricard returned to Castle Fynn and learned about the cyclone here from the townsfolk. Let's learn about more from the cyclone from Princess Hilda and Prince Gordon. So, I talked with all these folks. Maybe the Emperor is in the cyclone. We'll find out. The people here on the second and third floor, they don't really change their dialogue. I guess they're not up to current events. There must not be windows. So on their floors, because they don't say anything about the cyclone. But Princess Hilda and Prince Gordon will. Layla's still saying the same thing. The Emperor created a cyclone has already destroyed Altair, Galtria, Palum, and Poth. The cyclone is now headed toward Fynn. Let's ask about the cyclone. The Emperor is controlling the cyclone. Alright. Layla doesn't have anything to say about the cyclone, though. Prince Gordon will, though. Ultima's on our hands. What good does it do us? The cyclone will defeat us regardless. We need to fly to get in there. Remember what the mage in Mysidia said. To summon the wyvern from the mirror. But we'll do that, but let's head down this side, because there's a soldier on this side hanging out. And let's see what he has to say. Go through the secret passageway here. And another one down here. Let's talk with this guy. What's he have to say? I don't want to die. Okay, well, we'll try to defeat the cyclone. How? Don't know. But let's go to that mirror chamber in the upper left part of the castle here. And maybe see if you can summon that wyvern. The mirror's on the third floor. Okay. Thanks for reminding us. But yeah, we could have done this earlier, but we wouldn't know why we were going to do it, so. But now we have a reason to go to this mirror, because we have to summon the wyvern. Remember we dropped the wyvern egg in the cave north of Deist in the life spring? So we head here, we use the pendant, which communicates with the wyvern. The mirror absorbs the pendant's light. Hey, there's a little wyvern there. A wyvern shines in the mirror. And it's about to be summoned to us. The last wyvern egg is hatched. And hey, there it goes, the wyvern. Wyvern and dragoon are united once more. So I guess appropriately we'll give the wyvern, it can be used as an item to cast Blaze 7 on all characters. We'll give the wyvern to Ricard there. Seeing that wyverns and dragoons are like a team, like peanut butter and jelly, Batman and Robin, pickles and pizza. Yes, I like pickles on my pizza. The kosher ones. So, it's also one of the few key items that you can get rid of when Ricard leaves the party. If you have the wyvern equipped on him, he will leave the party with the wyvern. So, that's one way to free up inventory space, but I don't think it's really appropriate. It doesn't make sense story-wise either. So, but I'll point that out when it happens. So, but once you get the wyvern, Hilda and Gordon have a little bit of new dialogue. It kind of lets you know what you should do with the wyvern. So, I thought you had to de-equip the wyvern and show it to them, but nope, you just have to go talk with them and they'll let you know. They don't have anything to say if you show them the wyvern. They're like, oh, you can't use it here. The center of cyclone is clear of wind. It's like the eye of the hurricane. So, I guess that's where we can fly in with our wyvern. A wyvern is quite young, but it'll do. Yeah, we were told that wyverns can carry up to 5 people. There's 4 of us in the party, so hey, there we go. We can't use Cid's airship because we don't know where Cid's at. The town that he lived in is destroyed. Poft. But the airship looked okay. Maybe we can use it later on. But to get into the cyclone here, we have to use the wyvern. You don't really have to use it. It just automatically works when you go near the cyclone. As long as you have it equipped, or as long as you have it in your inventory, it will automatically take you inside the cyclone when you step next to it. How do you fight a cyclone? Well, let's ask you. You're gonna go into that thing? You're mad. Well, I've got some things that might help. Check the wall by the bed. Okay, we just have to go over here to, you know, if there don't hit any switches, you just walk right through the wall. And we get Paul's treasure. Most of it is extremely outdated equipment. The elixir's good, the thief's gloves are good, and the second blood sword is good. If you're going to use the blood sword, we're not. So, yeah, Black God gives a little bit more defense, gives agility. We already have the gold pin for agility, so maybe we'll get a stronger helmet later on that Ricard can use. So, thief's gloves will eventually need another pair of them later on. So, I'll just save them here. You can always buy more thieves gloves in Mysidia, but save some cash. Not like I said, we really need a lot of cash. And there's Paul, of course. He always seems to block the way there. The test run, he did the same thing too. But if you don't feel like waiting, you can always use warp to warp out of the house, or teleport to take you out of the entire town. But alright, let's go sell some of that gear because there'll be treasure that we can pick up in the cyclone. So let's just empty our inventory out a little bit. Sell a bunch of this armor is useless, and we can also sell the blood sword. Like I said, we won't be using the blood sword, so like I said, it makes the end game boss just a little too easy. So, but I guess a lot of things make the end boss a little too easy, but we'll still use some of them. So, but the blood sword is just way super cheap. So, move these things around a little bit here. Alright, we can equip the wyvern, like I said, on Ricard. It doesn't matter if it's in his inventory, if it's in your inventory, just as long as you have it somewhere. This cutscene will happen when you get close to the cyclone. But, well, we run into some enemies here. So, not the enemies that we want to see. We want to see captains. Because, like I said, we're still trying to farm a curse spell off of them, a curse scroll, to teach Maxine the curse spell. If she doesn't get it, she doesn't get it, but, you know, it'd be nice to maybe get that spell. The only one that you can get, normally we sold, so. Because, like I said, I wasn't going to use it because I had the ancient sword, but I accidentally sold the ancient sword, but way too long ago, but, yeah, either of them don't happen, it's okay. Curse, not necessary to beat the game. One of the good things about this game, like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can beat it and stuff. Nothing is 100% essential. So, well, other than, you know, key items, you know, that are required for plot progression. But in terms of ways you build your characters, magic you teach them, you know, there's many ways to go about finishing the game. So, these annoying sergeants. Once a boss monster, now they're a pain because they drag down the encounter level of these random encounters on the overworld. They're only rank 3. A lot of other characters are rank 5 and 6. So, speaking of annoying, I can hear a little bit in the background there. Spartacus growling at Guinevere. Had to go stop there for a second to go pick him up. Guinevere was on my lap, so Spartacus jumped off my lap. But then, since Spartacus wasn't on my lap, Guinevere decided she wants to go bother the dog. And then, now I have Spartacus on my lap, so I imagine in a few minutes, Guinevere, my pet rat, is going to run over to me and try to climb on my lap. So, they're like little kids, they just love to bother each other. Or Guinevere likes to bother Spartacus. Spartacus is an old man, he'll be 16 this year. And, he just, yeah, he's like, just leave me alone, I want to be an old man and just sleep. So, but he's earned it. So, got a new enemy here, the wood golem. Weak to fire. We can probably almost one-shot it if we hit it with fire, because our intelligence and fire level is so high. But it's a rank 7 monster, so we can get some good experience by not hitting it with fire and drawing this battle out a little bit. We're still trying to work up a bunch of our spells. So, that'll be good for Maxine, building up her magic. So, we want to get Blizzard and Thunder both up to level 7. Fess still has to work on his Asuna spells, so we can be casting that if he's not asleep. So, who do you think you are, Fess? Spartacus? Sleeping all the time? Well, Probably because he doesn't sleep all the time. He likes to sleep a lot though, but like I said, he's an old pup. He deserves to sleep all that time. So, But, I got Guinevere nipping at my feet. She'll try to run up my leg in a little bit. So, all these little kids. Little children here. These little animals. So, Guinevere, why can't you be a responsible little rat like Fess, Maxine, and Booker? They're saving the world and you're bothering a dog. I think I know who's doing more with their life. It's not Guinevere. Nope. So, although we will not be accomplishing too much in this video. We got the whipper knife there. It's unfortunately it's bugged. It's supposed to, for every hit you do an extra 20 damage. But unfortunately it doesn't work, so... Yeah, they didn't program every single weapon right in this game. They programmed a lot right compared to the first game, but there's always still some bugs, you know. I don't think there'll ever be a video game made where there isn't a bug, so... Because you never know what people are gonna find, you know. People try so many different things in games, especially like speedrunners and stuff. We're always trying to, you know, find new shortcuts, new ways to break the game and stuff. So, always gonna be somebody out there who discovers some new little trick. So, I'll keep the flame bow equipped. There's quite a few enemies in here that are weak against fire. So, like I said, fire is the spell that most enemies in the game are weak to. There's more enemies weak to fire than any other spell. So, good to keep it equipped. These cockatrices, though, are not, but Ricard is pretty strong, pretty accurate with his bow. So the cyclone is pretty neat. I like how it's laid out. It's laid out in like a little circular pattern, just like a cyclone would be. Basically, as you come across a staircase, if you take the staircase, you'll get all the treasure. And then you just have to backtrack or use the warp spell. But it's not too complicated a dungeon. So just go up whatever staircase you see. Except for toward the very end, there's one staircase that, well, if you unless you really are exploring, you won't normally find it because it's basically in the middle of the cyclone, and it's beyond. I don't know, it's like a frozen lake. So that's the only one that you would avoid because it leads to a dead end. It leads to a room with 4 doors that are all trap rooms. And we already know we want to avoid all the trap rooms because they have high encounter rates and no treasure in them, and they drop you off in the middle of the room, so you're most likely going to get an encounter when you step out, and we're going to get more than enough encounters just wandering around here in the cyclone. Especially, like I said, in this episode, because there's an enemy that's only on the first and second floor of the cyclone, and it can be encountered later on in a future dungeon, but it's really rare in the future dungeon, so your best chance to run into it, there's an 18.8% chance to run into it in this dungeon, which is the best chance of anywhere to find this enemy. So we're going to farm that enemy just to find it. So, the Vampire Lady. So, of course, because I'm going out of my way to farm it here, that means that when I get to a future dungeon where it's going to be at, even though it's much rarer, I'll run into it all the time. So, that just seems the way that it works, I've noticed. This is like a very unlucky playthrough. So, the one that isn't recorded though, like the test run, the one that I used to have recorded, that one, though, actually was pretty lucky in that one. So, a lot of stuff in that, but oh well. It's okay. Like I said, there's multiple ways to, you know, beat this game, build your things up. So, even though it runs a little differently, we'll still end up finishing this game. So, And so if you're playing along with me, you know, you can maybe do some little alterations too to your own play style from what I'm doing here. So it's just a little guide, and like I said, mainly just to, you know, it's a way for me to go back through my old, give me a reason to go back through all my old games, and to honor some pet rats and or other pets that have passed on, like for Dog Island they did for my dog Buddy. So give a way to, you know, honor them, name heroes after them. So Fess, Maxine, Booker, though, all rats, as you can see from the thumbnail and the ending screen that I throw on every single one of these videos. So more cold water up here in the cyclone. A poison axe, pretty strong axe, second strongest axe in the game, and it can poison a target after you hit it with it. So poison, like I said, takes a little bit of an enemy's hit points at the end of each turn, just how it does with our if our characters are poisoned. And poison is the one that doesn't remove itself. Envenomed is the status that does that. So you don't have to worry about the enemies healing that poison if we hit them. But we're not going to be using that poison axe, though, because we have no axe users. So switch back, throw on the ice bow. None of these guys are weak to ice, so we can still hit them with blizzard spells. Like I said, we want Maxine to get all her elemental spells up to level 7 here. So then she'll start working on her support spells. Haste, Berserk, and Osmos. Want to get them to level 4. That's pretty good for them. Attack spells will end up basically trying to get to level 8. So that's a good standard. The other one that's really lacking, of course, is Flare, because that's a new one, but once we get the other ones to level 8, then we can start working Flare, or we can work Flare in and out, so we'll get the spells there eventually. So yeah, we've got this dungeon and 3 more to go, and then we got some outside farming to do. As you can see, when we were on the overworld, overworld enemies changed. So there's a few new enemies in the overworld that can only be encountered in the overworld, or who have a higher chance of being encountered in the overworld than in the dungeons. There's like 2 enemies in the overworld, or 3 that are can be encountered in dungeons, but their encounter rate is higher outside, so we'll try to farm them there. So less more likely to run into them there. So Blizzard's very close to its level 7. Now we'll have to jump to Thunder. So it's a very common encounter here. Luckily they're all rank 5s, so no particular enemy is bringing them down. We'll switch out and use our fire spell there a little bit, because eventually, like I said, we want to get the fire up a level, you know, all our attack spells up to level 8, so like I said, I like to try to concentrate and get everything up to the same. OCD, of course, but because the bombs have that fire weakness, might as well hit them with it. So Maxine can take them out from, since they're not going to be able to do anything because they're in the far left column, and only the front 2 columns can attack. So look at how easy those captains have gotten. So Booker and Ricard take them out in 1 turn. They're the ones that we want them to drop that curse tome, if we get lucky, but wow, nice critical hit there by Booker, taking it out all by himself. So, well, that's okay. Ricard will just waste his attack, but yeah. With between Maxine, Booker, and Ricard then being able to concentrate all their firepower on that Gigas, he shouldn't last long. Concentrate all firepower on that Super Star Destroyer. Thinking of Star Wars again, which this game took a lot of inspiration from. You know, you have the Emperor, you have a super weapon, the Dreadnought versus the Death Star. You have a rebellion led by a princess. You know, a lot of stuff pulled from Star Wars. So I think the developers are obviously fans of Star Wars, because later on, common thing is Biggs and Wedge, common enemies, named after Biggs Dogglider and Wedge Antilles, the two X-Wing pilots who did the Death Star run with Luke in Episode 4, New Hope, the first Star Wars movie that came out. Wedge went on to survive that movie. He was in all three of the movies, the first three movies, the George Lucas ones. Not the prequels, the other ones. New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. He was one of the Hoth pilots in Rogue Squadron. And then he was Red Leader in Return of the Jedi. He went in with Lando to the Death Star and blew it up. He went for the power regulars on the North Tower. So, yeah, I remember in one of the Star Wars books I read, they end up like, I guess like our old pilots used to do. They used to paint silhouettes of stuff they shot down. And his X-Wing had 2 Death Stars on it. Because he was the only one who made 2 assaults on the Death Star. So, and I guess the only other one who has 2 things with Death Stars would be, the only other hero would be Luke. Luke was the only one who was inside both Death Stars. First one he went in to rescue with Princess Leia, and then the second one he was in there to confront his father, Darth Vader, and the Emperor. So, Luke, of course, founded the Rogue Squadron, which Wedge Antilles was a part of. So, look. Mr. Godus again, speaking of leaders. He was the leader of the castle, Castle Fynn. But one of the Goduses was. So, not as cool, I guess, as being the leader of Rogue Squadron. But, I guess you gotta be a Jedi to do that. So, look. I guess our characters can kind of be like Jedis. Well, Fess and Booker. Well, Fess, really. Because Fess uses a sword and kind of has magical powers. But, well, we're going to warp out of here to heal up, because like I said, we're going to try to farm that. We're going to run low on magic for Fess, and we're going to want to end up, like I said, farming that vampire lady on the 1st or 2nd floor. So might as well head out here. While we haven't made much progress, we can save our game and heal up. Go back in next time. Take care, have a good one, see you then. Bye.